What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about ego, how it shows up, how you can notice it in yourself and others, and why you should try your best to control your ego. If you are new to the channel, I make videos about self-improvement, personal growth, spirituality, and other similar topics. So I want to make this very clear. I'm not anti-ego. I understand that you need your ego, and life is a duality, right? So you have, your normal consciousness, and then you have your ego. But this video is basically to break down why it can be detrimental sometimes, why it can limit you sometimes and be a trap. And if you guys have noticed, a lot of successful men, they limit their ego, or they're very humble. And I think that there is a reason behind that, because ego limits collaboration. It limits connection. All right, so let's jump into the topic of today's video, the ego. So ego is a very interesting topic, because you need your ego, right? That's where you get your boldness, your confidence. When you talk your shit, when you feel good about yourself, right? But it can also be a trap. So in this video specifically, I'm going to be mainly talking about men. And when I say men, I mean men to men interactions. I'm going to leave women out of it because that's not what this video is for. So a few ways the ego shows up as a detriment to you is it can show up as limiting connection with other men, maybe because you feel like you are above them. You feel like you need to prove something. You feel like you need to be heard or lead, and it just blocks a potential connection. Another way it shows up is that it starts limiting opportunities. When you start hanging around high-level people, millionaires. I've been around millionaires. I've had clients that are millionaires. They aren't ego-driven. That's what I've noticed with a lot of them. There is a time and a place to pop your shit and to speak through your ego. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a real lack of connection between men nowadays. A real lack of friendship. A lot of men don't have genuine friendships. There's a lack of connection because everybody feels like they need to compete all the time. Everyone feels like they need to prove themselves, which I'm not saying it's bad to prove yourself, but when you start projecting your ego onto other people, that's when it can become an issue. So I'll give you guys a perfect example of, just take anybody speaking out of their ego, any man speaking out of their ego. Have you ever talked to a man, another man, and maybe you guys were around the same age, maybe they were a little bit older than you, maybe even younger than you. Age doesn't really matter, but they were trying to share some information with you. You were looking for genuine mentorship, connection, friendship, whatever the case may be. And they may have shared the information with you, but they said it in a way that was maybe condescending or made you feel smaller than what you would have liked, or, kind of little broed you, like, all right, here's the information, but you're below me type of thing. That, I feel like, is one of the main ways that ego shows up. And so that's just an example of men speaking through their ego. Genuine mentors, genuine leaders, genuine people who are secure within themselves, they don't need to necessarily speak from their ego, because either their game, their life, their results speak for themselves. So they're comfortable and confident within their own body, their own skin. where they can lead from a different type of place. Now, if you're on a journey of leveling up and improving yourself and, you know, trying to become the best version of yourself, there's going to be a point where you are going to have to humble yourself and not let your ego take over. You know, as you climb the ladders, get into bigger rooms with, you know, people who are playing the game at a different level. You know, you're going to have to realize that you don't know everything, that sometimes connection is better than competition, that genuine connection can lead to opportunities down the line. And so I want to talk about how to recognize when you are speaking from your ego and when other people are speaking from their ego as well, other men. Because the quicker and the better you get at realizing it for yourself, that's when you can basically tone it down, I'll say, or speak from a different place. And then when you realize it from other people or other men, then you know how to handle certain social situations better. And it just saves a lot of time, stress, and energy. So mastering your ego and noticing when other men are in their ego energy, it just comes down to two simple things, which is improving self-awareness for yourself, so you know when you're speaking out of your ego and it may hold you back, or improving your self-consciousness so that you can also not only notice when you are, you know, speaking from your ego, but you can notice when other people are speaking from their egotistical voice. Now, what I have noticed for myself personally is that it helps me be a better leader, helps me connect with people more, and it also just helps me notice when people are not trying to connect and build genuine relationships. I think that is a big one that has helped me navigate social dynamics, because, you know, a lot of people these days are very transactional. They don't want to build genuine connection. They are short-term thinkers. They don't think long-term. They just think, what can I get out of this moment? Now, there are some men who like that type of egotistical battle or that clash. But for me personally, and I think other men, you guys can relate to this also, some of you, is that energy can also be extremely draining. So that is my perspective on ego. Yes, you do need your ego. Yes, there's a time and a place for it. But like I mentioned previously in this video, a lot of men don't have genuine friendships or genuine relationships. A lot of men are looking to compete with each other when they should be competing against themselves. A lot of men are very insecure deep down, and so they project ego out into the world and onto other people, and all it does is it makes you look insecure at times and basically just limits connection. So those are my thoughts. Let me know if this resonated with you guys, and let me know where you guys are in your journey of, you know, managing your ego. Do you feel like you are not good at it? Do you feel like you've mastered it? Do you feel like what I said makes sense? Does it resonate with you? I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Drop them down in the comment section below. But that is it for this video. I will see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.